Welcome back to the Titans Time podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Staggs, and we have a very special guest today, a former NFL wide receiver with the Houston Oilers and Tennessee Titans organization. He was a part of the Titans team in 1999 and 2000 when they played in Super Bowl 34. While in college at the Ohio State University, he broke Jesse Owens' long jump record. Chris Sanders. Chris, how you doing today?
Superman, how you doing? I appreciate that introduction. I'll give you about $5 or $6, man.
We're curious because me and my brother both looked, and I don't know if we were just overlooking it. What was that? What was the long jump that you had that broke Jesse Owens' record?
It actually was in 1992 indoors. It was 26.9 and 3/4.
26.9. Man,
yeah, it's still holding on. The record's still there indoors. So it was one of those records that I always remember. Just looking at the legacy of Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens was a man who overcame adversity in the 1936 Berlin Olympics, and to have the opportunity to break his record and have the opportunity to be a part of a legacy like that, I mean, it really, really makes a difference.
Oh yeah, and that's a long way. Like I can't imagine jumping that far, man.
Yeah. It was a good deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, in your rookie season, I went back and watched some of those highlights, and man, you were a big play waiting to happen. I think you had 9 touchdowns in your rookie season.
I had 9 touchdowns in my rookie season.
And you averaged 23.5 yards per reception. I mean, that's just crazy to me. Do you think, also being a track star, that when you got to the league and everything, did you feel like you were just faster than everyone else on the field?
Track helped me out a lot, but I think coming in as a rookie, I just had an edge about myself. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to make plays, and I wanted to show this organization that you drafted me 3rd round, you were going to get a great player, but a great kid. And when I came in as a rookie, we had a lot of receivers, and I was like 4th on the depth chart, and I was hungry to play. Before the season, nobody expected me to do anything. I get drafted. They said, okay, maybe he'll play special teams. So I started to create an edge. And when I created an edge, I was like, wherever the ball's at, I'm going to catch it. If it's in the stands, I'm going to catch it. If it's at the concession stand, I'm going to get it. If it's on the other side, I'm going to catch it, because I had just wanted to be the best and make plays. And, one of the games I'll always remember is we were playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's on ESPN. So I wanted all my friends to see me back, in Denver, Colorado. So it's 4th and 15, 4th and 13. And I run a post route against Dale Carter, and I jump over 5 guys and catch the ball. And Joe Theismann was actually doing the commentating, and he said this. He said, Chris Sanders is a guy who wants to attack the ball. Mm-hmm. And that's how I did as a receiver. Wherever the ball was, I wanted to attack the ball and catch the ball in every place it was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I remember seeing that, highlight in, the highlights I watched. And whenever I seen it, I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, he just went up over them and, made sure that he got that ball. And, even some of the other highlights, it would look like there would be nothing there. And, after you caught the ball running, I'm like, all right, they got this on here for a reason. What's he fixing to do? And, you would just be making people miss left and right and taking it for a touchdown.
I mean, it's just that, I had fun. I mean, when I grew up playing football as a 3rd grader and a 4th and a 5th grader, I just love playing the game. I love making big plays, and I visualize myself playing the NFL. And just kind of give you a story. I remember when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I had this sock that I would visualize catching, a touchdown in a game. And in 1995, we were playing the Cincinnati Bengals. And the same way I was holding my hand catching that sock was the same way I was holding my hand to catch my first touchdown against the Cincinnati Bengals. And it was just one of those moments that you'll never forget. And I actually have it in my office that I work at. I work at Montgomery Bell Academy. And that first touchdown I had where I had my hands like this, I'll never forget, because that was when my dream come true.
Man, that's awesome. We've had a couple other guys on, and they talked about how playing football when they were younger, and then actually getting to the league and everything. I'm sure it's just a surreal moment.
Yeah.
And you talking about having that edge, and because you were a third round pick, people didn't really expect much from you.
Right.
And then going back to your rookie season when you averaged 23 and a half yards per reception. Do you still keep up with the Titans now? And if so, I want to get your thoughts on the current wideouts on the team, especially like AJ Brown, who, in his rookie season, he was averaging over 20 yards per reception. And
Oh,
just
I
get your
was
thoughts on
watching because
them.
I did not want. Oh yeah, I was watching. The one thing I didn't want him to break, and I'm glad he's a great player, but he had 8 touchdowns. I had 9.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get it. I'm like, I love you, but I don't want to get it. But let me tell you, AJ Brown is 2 players in one. When I say 2 players in one, is he's a wide receiver and he's a running back. Because when he catches the ball, he's making yards after catch, and he's trying to make plays. He makes the simple plays into great plays. I mean, if we look at the game when they played against the Atlanta Falcons, he caught a slant and he made 4 and 5 guys miss. Next, he has a 47-yard touchdown. He's an explosive player. He's big. He's physical. Yeah, he's got some work to do at the line of scrimmage and getting off the press. But I'm telling you, this kid can be special. And the reason why he can be special is this guy is going to come and he's going to work. I mean, look at when he came in and how he gained respect from his players, offensive line, Lewan. Taylor Lewan loves this kid. I mean, you got a rookie that comes in and you gain respect from Taylor Lewan. It just shows you that this guy came in with an edge. He came in with a sense of, I want to come in and play. I don't want to sit here. I know I'm a second round and they got Corey Davis and other guys that can make plays, but I want to come in here and contribute and be a team player and make plays. And you just show the capability of this guy. Look at the play that he made against the Raiders. I think it was 90-something yard touchdown. Then we get it. Then he plays a couple of weeks later. He plays in the Indianapolis Colts, and he makes a circus catch on the sidelines. It just shows you that this guy has great potential to be a number 1 wide receiver.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Coming into his rookie year, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect because, everyone has kind of been down on Corey Davis because he hasn't, for a top 5 pick, hasn't really panned out to what I guess everyone expected him to be. And then now, AJ Brown's come in as a second-round pick, and I've said it on our podcast before. I see him as our number 1 receiver, and that might help Corey Davis out this next year because the pressure of being that number 1 is off of him, and he can just go out and be a good number 2. So
see that's why I believe Corey Davis is going to have a spectacular year. I mean, he's still got a lot to prove. And to kind of give him the benefit of the doubt, I mean, when he first came in, he hurt his hamstring in camp, so he's hamstring or his ankle, and he was kind of set back for a little bit. He hasn't had a chance to really be in camp coming in healthy. Now the situation this year, he's on the PUP list, so now he's on he's behind the 8 ball again. But I think he's going to have a great season, and the reason why I'm saying he's going to have a great season is because everybody's saying he can't do it. Everybody's saying he's a number 2 receiver. Everybody's saying that he's washed up. That's when it's your time to shine. Look at the situation with Henry a couple of years ago. Everybody said that Henry was running too soft. Everybody said he wasn't hitting the hole, that he was dancing too much. And all of a sudden you have a guy named Eddie George talking to him and say, listen, you need to get an edge. You need to start running with power. And all of a sudden now, a couple of years later, he wins a rushing title. Why is that? It's because he started to get an edge, say, you know what? I don't care if you tackle me. You're going to try to tackle me. You're going to get a stiff arm in your face, and I'm going to run through your face. And that's the attitude that Corey Davis is going to have. You say I can't do it. You say I can't run routes. You said I can't be a number 1 wide receiver. You say all this stuff. You don't think this guy's creating the edge to show everybody that he can be a number 1 wide receiver because he's the number 5 pick in the draft? He's got a lot to prove.
Oh yeah, and I completely agree. I think he's going to come out and have a big year this year, especially if he can get healthy. I just see him coming out and showing out this year.
What's that?
I just see him showing out this year if he can get healthy.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
And, it's funny that you mentioned Eddie George, giving Derrick Henry that advice, telling him, hey, man, you're running too soft. You need to, you're a big guy. I want to go back to that '99 and 2000
Mm-hmm.
season, and just see, if you have any stories. I mean, there
Mm-hmm.
was so many great moments in that playoff run to
Yeah.
lead y'all to going to the Super Bowl, from the Music City Miracle, and then obviously, in the Super Bowl, coming up a yard short. And I mean, I know as a Titans fan, that's one thing that's always stuck with me. But, do you have some stories like maybe from the locker room when y'all were making that run, how everyone was
Yeah.
feeling?
I think it started with the first game. We played Cincinnati, and all those years before that, we were 8-8, 9-7, and we couldn't get over that hump. And then that first Cincinnati game, we were down. And I think we needed a minute and a half to come back and win. And I think Kevin Dyson makes the winning touchdown. And we finally understood how to win. And
Mm-hmm.
once we got over that hump, and we just went on a rampage to start beating everybody. And we had a core of leaders. We had Joe Battle, we had Blaine Bishop, we had Marcus Robinson. We had that core of leaders. And then we just started adding a couple of guys like a Samari Rowe, a Javon Curse, those guys that just added more fuel to the fire. And once we got those guys that had energy, that had passion, then all of a sudden the defense that was always been in the top 10 in the league, now all of a sudden they're going to be the top defense of the top 5 defenses in the league. So it just shows you that when you start adding those pieces and playing with fire, and come together as a family, you can do some great things. Everybody can have a lot of talent. Everybody can have the best quarterback. Everybody can have the best running back. Everybody can have the best lineman. Everybody can have the best running back. But if you don't come together as a family, it's not going to work. And that's exactly what we had in 1999. We had some great wide receivers. We had Yancey Thigpen, Kevin Dyson. We had a great running back, Eddie George. We had a great offensive line, Bruce Matthews, Brad Hopkins, all those guys. But the reason why we were winning that year is because we came together as a family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see, with the playoff run that the Titans
Yeah.
had this past year, there's been a couple times on here where I've kind of compared it to that run in '99, because going back to week 6, whenever uh, the quarterback change was made, it seemed like that, sparked something in the team. And after that, they came together and found their identity and were just able to start making stuff happen.
I mean, you're right. I mean, listen, I'll take my hat up to Mariota because Mariota is a team player. I want to
Mm-hmm.
start with that first. I mean, look at what he did when Tannehill would throw a touchdown. Who's the first guy to be there? Mariota,
Yep.
because he's a team player. But then if you look at what Tannehill came in when he started playing, he just brought a fire to this offense that was kind of stagnant. If you look when they played the Kansas City Chiefs, when he made that 2-point conversion, he ran through that safety's face.
Mm-hmm.
The offense was excited, but the whole defense was on the field congratulating. So when you win over not just the offensive line, win over your offensive guys, when you got the defensive guys that's going crazy on the sideline, that just shows you that you got great leadership qualities because you make everybody around you better.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. And, you know, going back to some of those greats,
Yeah.
what was it like playing with Steve Mcnair, Eddie
Yeah.
George, Derek Mason, Kevin
Yeah.
Dyson, and then, of course, you mentioned some guys on the defensive side of the ball
Mm.
with Samari Roll, Javon Curse. I know, 2000 draft ended up getting Keith Bullock, who,
Yeah.
He's, one of my favorite players of all time. Just what was it like playing with those guys, especially, like I said, Steve and Eddie?
Playing with Steve, because me and Steve got drafted the same draft class. So, I don't really know about Steve when he first came in. I know he went to Alcorn State and did some great things. But to be on the same field as a Derek Mason, Eddie George, a Bruce Matthews, a Brad Hopkins, a Lorenzo Neal, I mean, it was an honor to play with those guys. It's kind of like you taking you having a puzzle, you take it out the box and you throw it on the table. You have all these pieces, but once they connect, they create a good picture. And that's exactly what that 99 team was, is we had a whole bunch of pieces, but we connected and we put together a great picture by coming together as a family. I'm telling you, man, it was an honor playing with those guys. I watched how Javon worked. Javon was probably one of the hardest working guys I've ever been around. Eddie George. I've been around some guys that worked hard, but a guy like Eddie George, man, unbelievable. And then you have Steve Mcnair, probably one of the toughest guys you ever meet. You have Bruce Matthews, who probably the worst athlete you ever seen, but his technique is unbelievable. And he has a heart to win. You have Brad Hopkins, you have Kevin Long, you have guys that want to win, but also they want to be a part of a family and also creating identity to go and beat some teams. It was a flat out honor to play with those guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was still very young whenever, all y'all were playing together, and, got to enjoy more of, let's say I would have been 6 or 7 when y'all went to that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, just seeing, that was the teams I grew up on. And then, of course, my brother, he's got to see some flashes of some good Titans teams. But, that was one of my main things I was wanting to ask you, was just that whole group of guys, that I grew up watching, what it was like playing with them, because, I know what I was sitting there thinking every Sunday, when I was watching y'all.
Yeah. And you know what the great part about that whole team is, Bruce Matthews was in the league for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Hopkins was in the league for a long time. Bud Adams started the AFL and then started help with the NFL, but he's never had a chance to hold up the AFC South trophy or the AFC Championship trophy. Mm-hmm. And to see Bruce Matthews hold up that trophy and to see Bud Adams hold up that trophy, it was all worth it. To go through the pain, the struggle, the disappointments, the crying, the days where you're like, man, I'm tired of doing this. Going to Memphis to get booed, coming to Vanderbilt getting booed. Then also we get in our stadium, we go to the Super Bowl. It was well worth it because you did it with guys that you love.
Right. Yeah. I mean that. Now, going back to that, is there a favorite memory that you have from your time with the Titans, or even, going back to the Oilers franchise? Do you have a favorite memory from that time?
Yeah, I do. I think we were playing on Thanksgiving, and we were all in the huddle on the play before. Steve Mcnair broke his finger. His finger was turned that way.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the huddle was like, man, you need to go get out. He's like, no, I'm good. And as he's walking he's calling the play, and as he walks up to the huddle, he's like barking out the calls, and you see him pop it back in, and then he runs for a 46-yard touchdown. That's the kind of guy you're dealing with.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I knew he was tough, and, seeing some of the shots that he took, and he just got up and kept going. But that's definitely a good story there. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that, the teams that you were on, for a while there, it was 7-9, 8-8, right there around in that range. But none of your years in the league, was y'all's record worse than 7-9. What are some of those? And I'm sure it's going to come back to that whole having each other's back and, being a family, but what's some more of the success or keys to success for NFL teams to, build on that and have seasons like that where, they're right there close to 500 or above 500 for a long stretch of time?
You just have to stay the course. And the reason why I say that is Jeff Fisher used to say that all the time. I mean, we used to go to Pittsburgh and get blasted. I mean, we'd lose by 1 point and miss a field goal or miss a pass. But every time Jeff Fisher would always say, stay the course. And when you talk about coming together as a family, you're going to go through trials. You're going to go through tribulations. You're going to get mad at your brother. But you got to stay the course. And that's exactly what we did. In 1995, I mean, we were a good team, but we were still figuring out how to win. Jeff Fisher would say, stay the course. 1996, we were like 5-2. Then all of a sudden, we lost like 6 or 7 in a row. Jeff Fisher said, stay the course. We get in 1997, 98, we go to Memphis and we get booed. Jeff Fisher said, stay the course. We get in 1998, same thing, stay the course. In 1999, we're playing our first game against Cincinnati and we're losing. He said, stay the course. We get later on in that same year, our quarterback gets hurt, Steve Mcnair. O'Donnell comes in and plays 4 games, stay the course. All of a sudden, we play in the music. We play the Buffalo Bills in the playoff games. We're down by 3 points or down by 2 points, and there's 16 seconds left on the clock. Jeff Fisher calls us up. Stay the course. That's what we did. Is we stayed the course in spite of adversity because we knew at the end there was something special waiting for us.
Right. Yeah, and with the Music City Miracle, because, like I said, we've talked to some other people who, they got to watch it on their TV, things like that. But you're the first person that we're getting to talk to that was actually there. Now, were you on the field for that, or were you on the sidelines at the time?
I was on the sidelines.
You were on the
sidelines, and I'm like, yeah, I was on the sidelines. Like, man, I guess our season's over. But that's just how our whole season was. Is we had a team that wouldn't quit. I mean, the funny part about it is Kevin Dyson wasn't even supposed to be in the game. It was Derek Mason, but Derek Mason got a concussion the series before. So you had Alan Lowry come up and tell guys what to do, and they just did it. They believed, and when he told us what they were doing, nobody complained and said, "Man, how is this going to work?" Everybody just did their job. Now, here's the crazy part about the whole thing is you have Lorenzo there who catches the ball in practice. He couldn't catch it cold. It's like he was catching with two elbows. And then you have Frank Wycheck, who has the worst arm in America, that throws the ball to Kevin Dyson. And you have Kevin Dyson that wasn't even supposed to be in the game.
Right.
But the good thing about it is when everybody was on the field, everybody just did their job. And if everybody just does their job, you're guaranteed to do some great things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, I can only imagine, sitting there thinking that the game's over, don't really know if this is going to work or not. And then seeing Dyson running up the sideline there and actually scoring, like, I can only imagine the excitement actually being there on the sidelines or on the field.
Yeah, the crazy part about that is I'm driving on the highway and everybody is blowing their horns the whole way home. And I'm driving all the way to Brentwood. Beep, beep, and everybody's just going crazy. And then I get home and there's like 75 to 100 people in my cul-de-sac crying. I mean, yeah, we were celebrating, but they were crying because they couldn't believe what happened. That's why it's called the Music City Miracle, is because it was a miracle that we came back, and they were crying and they were excited, and it was just an unbelievable sight.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, Chris, man, I've enjoyed having you on.
Appreciate you.
And I just want to thank you again for coming on. Giving us your time. I wish Tanner could have been on here with us. Maybe we can get you on again here in the future, and he can be on with us because I'm sure he can probably come up with some more questions that he would like to know. But yeah, just thank you again for coming on, man.
You are very welcome, my friend. You have a good one.
You too.